in this pick ban phase. Varus at least taken off the table. Do you think G2 Esports just run it back, try the same draft again?
I think they may just want to target Trashy a little harder and maybe get rid of the Gragas in the blue side. I think that would be an okay adaptation, or just play the game differently. I don't think the picks necessarily were the problem. I think if G2 have a draft like that, they need to put the foot on the pedal just a little harder in the early game.
Something we did not see from them. G2 have said recently that they are playing not quite as aggressively, not as reliant on mechanical or individual outplays.
Yeah.
Malzahar now taken off the board as well. They don't want to play it. They don't want Splyce to play it either. So just trying to take that entirely out of the composition.
And they remove Malzahar here. And they have quite a few first picks. It would be interesting if they steal away. I like it if they would go for it. Just thematically within the series, I think banning one pick that didn't work for yourself and then taking away a strong pick from your opponent is an approach you can do. However, I still think Graves is just a superior jungle. Like, you could see what a Graves could do. Imagine if the lanes were pushing for Trick. He could just invade and just, yeah, make Trashy's life living hell.
I mean, they got the good start in the early jungle. Trick definitely had solid early pathing. Trashy just more involved in those teams' plays across the map. I was hoping for the anything you can do, I can do better approach from Trick, but does just kind of stick with meta power. And Splyce, they don't want to risk this Gragas going into anybody else's hands. They immediately lock it in.
And I wonder if they just go for like Renekton steal here on the side of G2. But then it's still an okay matchup, this Gragas. So actually, I like the flex potential of this pick here on early rotation. Obviously, Karma has been the stronger support. Whether you prefer Karma as a support seems to vary a lot through different supports in Europe. But with nerfs to Zyra in kind of plan selection, damage, and now Malz are taken off the board, I definitely think Karma is just a great pickup here.
We saw how important wave pressure was, how important lane priority was for Splyce, and Karma is the pick that gives you that. And interestingly enough, one pick that kind of sacrifices that is Ezreal, not known for his push prowess.
Yes, but he is known to farm relatively safely when pushed in, right? So I think that is just the reaction. He's like, you know what? I don't think we can draft anything on the side. On our side here is what G2 is saying that gives us the push. So why don't we lose gracefully and scale?
An option for them to have. Last time they were kind of obligated to make plays in the early to mid game with that Malzahar. No longer the case with the Ezreal. You can wait for that to scale up. Lulu coming out here.
Yep.
Normally seen as a counter pick to Malzahar, but also kind of just rising in popularity generally among the European supports.
And this may be just a very similar draft here where we may see G2 Esports go for a full protect the Zven comp. And this is something that Origin used to run very often back in the day when PerkZ still played Lulu mid lane. Obviously now the Lulu will go into support here, but if they draft another Shen matchup in the top lane, they try to go for some pressure invades early, it's going to be incredibly hard for Splyce to lock down Zven, who could become a monster.
How does Ezreal work in that composition? Because we see protect the Veins, we see protect the Tristanas, just kites.
Yeah, he kites and he tears through the front line and makes it so hard for that Renekton to dive in, and eventually they drop. So you'll need a kind of a walk back mid laner there too. We see the same two bans in second phase of Splyce here. Obviously they take Gragas away out of the top champion pool. They pick Renekton, the strong individual top laner themselves, and just like last game, they pinch the ranged harass top lane bullies in Kennen and Gnar.
Last time around, the last ban for G2 Esports was the Ziggs, or one of the bans in the second ban phase. Yep. If it is left open here, may see it go into the hands of Kobbe, will fit right into that pressure bot lane that Splyce are already building for themselves.
I prefer the Sivir ban. I was about to say, like, they will overload on magic damage if you give them Ziggs. And I think you have enough wave clear to kind of deal with that with Ezreal Lulu anyways. That putting Kobbe on a different champion right now he needs to find something that he can work with. I think Caitlyn might actually be an okay pick.
Caitlyn up. Ashe available as well.
Ooh, I would love to see Draven here. I think it actually punishes teams for picking scaling, but
no Draven, no scaling, no steadily increasing bounty. Different kind of scaling for Caitlyn. A lot of early pressure and the early harass.
But what this red side is doing for Splyce, and we really see it come to fruition here, is leave the counter pick up to mid. And the way these drafts have evolved is very few mid lane champions have been targeted, right? So that allows Splyce to somehow still get a draft where they have guaranteed the pushing top laner in Renekton. They have guaranteed the pushing bot lane with the Karma locked in early, and then they can pair an AD carry with later, worst case Ziggs or Caitlyn. So they have two pushing side lanes. So despite having a losing jungle matchup and potentially a losing mid lane matchup, they can get a comfort pick for Sencux, regardless whether it pushes or not. which means Splyce is in their comfort zone with the draft.
100%. A lot of the same picks repeated here, but the bot lane and the mid lane are going to mix up. And on the opposite side, G2 have almost reworked the core of this composition completely.
Yeah, and the blind Ahri is one of the best champions that you can pick blind on blue side because she doesn't lose any single matchup super hard. The Fisher said exactly the same thing yesterday as well. On level 7, if you get the wave clear, you're just fine. But you can pick pretty much anything into it as well. That is the thing here. They could have gone for another Victor matchup here if they want to and yield the pressure. But I like Ekko more because it allows Splyce to opt in very heavily into the 1-3-1 here. Because Ekko is actually a pick that plays very well on the side lane. Ahri is too, but this Ekko is looking to run teleport instead of ignite.
And one of the few champions who can keep up with an Ezreal if you're trying to protect him is an Ekko. All that mobility not going to matter. Both champions are similarly mobile. And all it takes is for you to get caught out in position once before he can leap on you and kind of shut down any play you're looking to make.
Yeah, late game kiting definitely in terms of G2 here. So Splyce looking to keep the map open and catch G2 in these rotations, or just put map pressure and then use double teleport to get a number advantage.
Interesting to see. Big shift in the draft. Last time we talked about lane assignments maybe being an issue, but now with an Ekko, now with the split pusher.
Oh, this is super cookie cutter. For Splyce, the game plan is push bot lane on your own, but don't go there with your jungler necessarily. Your jungler wants to hover around top side. You still want to attack the global, but you want to break down these outer turrets, either with a rotation or just unrelenting push. And then you put Kayle in mid, you trap up, you put Ekko on the side lane, Renekton on the side lane, and then you're playing the map, the pushing game.
So you see, of course, head on over to Twitter. Last time, it was pretty heavily in favor of G2 eSports. I suspect after that game 1 may no longer be the case. It's game 2, ladies and gentlemen. Time to get this one underway. Now the question remains, Krepo, G2 on the blue side, Splyce once again on the red. Is it going to be the rinse and repeat? Is it going to be Splyce with the 2-0? Or can G2 adapt from their first game and bring it back?
Splyce played very well. A tad slow, but G2 just played slower. And then G2 made some mistakes that Splyce capitalized on. That was game 1, essentially. I think it was pretty high level league. Domestically looking. Obviously, nothing compares to Telecom Wars.
I like the way you summarized that. I wish that was how easy VOD review was.
Yeah.
This guy made some mistakes, this guy went down, and this team won.
I mean, it's always like that. It's just to which degree, right? Another invade here. I like that G2 as a 3-man contest. I hope Trashy learned his lesson.
Trashy, just go somewhere else. Or bully him out.
This is much better. This ward just gives you so much time to see what's going on.
Also, you know, G2 got the belly last time. Clearly not looking for a rinse and repeat there in the early jungle. Trashy's still going to walk away, though. Path to a different camp. Look for a different start. And it's the same story for Trick, so adaptation coming in from both these junglers.
Job is done. Ezreal actually has really strong level 1 trading, and so does Lulu. So unless Mikyx can land a really good empowered Mantra Q, that is what we need to look for. The first Q here from Mikyx will decide who gets the push in this lane. But they've actually been zoned out. It's very interesting.
Interesting as well. Expect is going to give a small leash, so Trick's clear will be slightly faster than Trashy's. Graves clear is already slightly faster.
No leash, Gragas blue start. Again, really hard for Trashy. So he's being really put behind by his team. So they're very much so relying on these side lanes pushing. If any of these side lanes swing another way as expected, then Splyce will definitely have a spanner in the works.
A lot of gold being picked up there by Mithy in that small exchange. Help picks making it all too easy to proc anything.
Yeah, still 5 out of 6 CS and the pushes. This is a good start for the Splyce bot lane. Kobbe, that's not the position you want to be in. Just eats a small trade, but he gets access to the minion wave early. Look at G2, they're trading on their counterparts because they know they can't win the AoE race, so they're just trying to win trades here. Punish them on the back end.
Winning trades quite well. Nice sidestep.
That's a big swing here in the tempo of kind of the lane, because now Zven can hit level 2 early enough that he doesn't get put off the next creeps, and he actually has the threat of always being able to be shifting in.
Of course, with the help picks, the Glitter Lance, Lulu has a lot of burst damage at level 2 as well. Karma doesn't add a whole lot more to that kit at level 2. Has the shield.
Yeah.
Can come out on top in trades, but raw damage right now.
Yeah, and you just need to see how close they walk up, you know. You always want to just get to the wave as soon as you can. Kobbe's doing it well, though. Prioritizing the wave, and Mikyx now sustained up with those potions. That's a good cue right there, you know, hitting the range creeps. Push first, trade later.
Now, Splyce with the cannon creep still alive. Gonna have the push edge for now. So we take a chance to look at the rest of the lanes and the junglers. Looks like Mird starts here. Gragas moving to the top side. Trick now pathing down to the bottom lane, maybe hoping to take advantage of Splyce pushing so far in.
Yeah, they saved their double ward real late here, so they're safe from kind of an alley-oop around the Dragon Pit, and they have the Deep Tide Rush ward. I like that adaptation. You know you won't get ganked early by Graves. It's a super fast pather. You just see that Trick is just a full camp ahead of Trashy at this point. And he's now going to reveal. Let's see how fast Splyce can react.
Moving forward, Kobbe pulling back. Smoke screen goes down.
Fast.
Very fast.
Yeah, they're watching their minimap. Because so often you play those two wards and you're thinking to yourself, such a great support.
Push.
He can't gank me.
Look at that CS. It's getting lower. Better hit it.
Better hit it. Oh, there's a jungler. Oopsie.
No one going to drop there, though, luckily for the team. No one falling prey to their kind of looking at their own reflection there in the bottom lane. Everything very calm here in the early game. PerkZ actually coming out on top in the early pressure here, taking advantage of the range.
Yep. But it's fine. Again, this draft allows Sencux to be pushed in as long as there's no spillover from PerkZ and Trick into the jungle to punish Trashy.
Oh, that's good. Sencux.
No, Sencux has to flash.
Flash. Auto.
Not enough.
Burn.
No. He flashed the second part of the orb. All he had to do. Very well played. VODS have both expired here. Trick's back.
Oh, Mikyx exhausted up. Moving forward. He's in trouble. Flash forward from Sven. First blood for Mithy. That's a good start for G2.
Yeah, and if you use both wards to protect yourself, obviously, you got to make sure you have one left afterwards or play accordingly. Really good visit again, and honestly, ward tracking by G2. They found an opening right there.
Well, last game we wanted to see more early play from them. They built a draft that isn't as reliant on early play, but find one anyway here in game 2.
And Expect is also becoming more familiar with the matchup here. Because last game he was put down maybe 12, 13 CS at this point. He's going very even despite leashing. So there was a no leash Renekton into Shen. And Expect is only down, honestly, 1 CS if he gets all these creeps.
Really solid place for him to be overall. Small lead in the middle lane, although TP back means Sencux is going to be pretty comfortable here. Honestly, small advantages going in the favor of G2, and for a team like G2, very often when they get 1 or 2 small leads in the early game, they're just able to snowball it so consistently forward.
Yeah, and the kill was timed so well as well. Look at Mithy, comes back with the side stone, only a single ward on Mikyx rather. So he's trying to make it count. Now Mithy's face checking, but this time he brings his team.
Oh, this could be bad. Decent damage going down. PerkZ is going to get snared up here. Doesn't have a whole ton of mana. He's locked up.
That's deep.
Ekko's on the way. Trashy maybe a little bit too far forward. In comes the stun from Ekko. Not going to connect. Trashy goes down. Sencux behind enemy line. Z-Drive Resident's going to proc. He's so low. PerkZ not going to get auto. He makes it out. That's another kill going forward. This is bad for Splyce. Mickey's next on the menu. Are they going to get anything? Wunder's left alone. G2 are ripping through Splyce, and they did not get a single kill back.
Oh, PerkZ leveled up to 6 here. Even waits for the turnaround. The respect is just so well timed here. PerkZ comes in, backs out of the fight. Mithy turns around, flashes in the right direction. You almost saw PerkZ rather greed at the end there, but he turned around the Ahri ulti, waited just long enough to make sure that the Renekton wasn't camping the brush. Guess what? He was. So this was a super clean cleanup from G2.
And this is shades of the old G2. These huge, I mean, small opportunity given from Splyce turned into a big opportunity.
But this invade here, drop the ward and get out. You have no clue what's going on. Trashy with the flashy, but at that point, what do you have left? Sencux coming in. Renekton teleports so late. This ward has been placed at least 5 seconds ago.
Oh, and it's such a rough play, too, because one auto is all it would take from Sencux and just gets smoke screened out.
And then obviously that was that last second shield there from Mithy onto PerkZ. And then right here, just like level up from PerkZ, goes in. If he goes again, he dies. Because Wunder turns around and he just has the patience to wait. And then they get him anyways.
That's a big lead, Krepo.
Yeah.
That's a 3K gold lead at 7 minutes. At 20 minutes in the last game, I was like, man, that is a big lead for 20 minutes. But at 7 minutes, it's an even larger
We asked
advantage.
G2 to put their foot on the pedal a little harder in the early game. And this time it was Splyce overreaching and being punished very hard. And it all goes back to that kill in the early game. I really want to know whether G2 was timing wards or if this was just like another gank attempt for pressure by Trick. Because he snuck in when the ward expired. There was not a new one placed. They obviously did the classic flash and just exhaust the support. That's the way to kill him. Then obviously you go to base, enemy support as a side stone. You don't. That means a major vision advantage. And because Splyce knew that was coming, they were trying to get some deep wards to somehow not have to play with that lack of vision. But then they overreached. They saw a target and they just engaged on the level 5 Gragas. Complete capitulation by G2.
And you can see, like, maybe they were tempted there. The Ahri didn't have a ton of mana. They thought maybe there's an opportunity, but just not respecting the roam potential from G2. Expect so quick to come down to start helping in the fight.
Yeah, and in the bot lane, kind of strengths have completely been kind of shaken up. tier Shen Ezreal into pickaxe Caitlyn. Thank you very much, says Zven. It's so easy to play this lane from the G2 side now.
Interesting too as we move forward. 8 minutes in, they're going to grab blue buffs. But like we talked about at the kind of the end of last game, you can afford deficits in the early game. It's okay to make these mistakes. It doesn't cost you a Baron when you lose 4 members, right?
Yeah. I mean,
it's still 4 kills. Krepo, I'm not trying to take that away. I'm not trying to tell you this is like okay. It's still a bad situation, but it's not as bad as it could be.
That's like talking about when you kind of like lose your pinky. You could have lost your leg, right? It's not as bad. Still hurts, man.
All right. It's weirdly specific on the anatomy there.
I've hurt my finger once, man.
It could have been a leg.
Could have been a leg. I was so happy. Broke my little finger.
Well, we'll see. Splyce gave G2 the finger. G2 looking to take the whole hand.
Oh, that way. Yeah.
One man that we brought up a ton in Game 1 because he had an amazing performance was Trashy, but 2016, 2017, look at these. Understand Trashy in 2016, he made so much happen for his team. This time around, it has not been the case. It was the case in Game 1. It may be the case again here in Game 2, but this is the level of performance we expect from Trashy, and it's something that he hasn't hit yet this season.
Yeah, and DPG is obviously death per game. So Trashy was dying a lot more, it seems, this season with lower kill participation. He was just not in the game as much. Splyce wasn't in the game as much, and he's just an essential member. And you see right there, when he pulls the trigger on a bad engage, Splyce also start calming down. So what I like is how decisive they were. What I don't like is how decisive they were about a bad call.
It's a rough spot to be, right?
Yeah.
The burden of responsibility, yeah, you're going to make all the decisions. Yeah, you're in control of the game, but also you're in control of the game. If something goes wrong, you're also at fault.
Yeah, shot calling sucks, dude. If you make a bad call, everybody's on you. If you make a good call, like, your team won the game.
Is this dark times? Were you the shot caller?
No, I tried. I failed miserably. All we did was sit back and wait.
To be fair, that is a shot to call.
Hey, can't fail to play if you don't make any plays, Drakos.
Well, Splyce not in the same boat.
No, they tried. They failed. Now we need to see if they can fight back. Twig is sneaking a dragon right here.
He does this a lot. It feels very risky to me, but I guess knows that he's comfortable here.
Is this really acceptable? Because if you know it has no vision and you come from over the wall, like nobody actually walks in to check the dragon if the jungle's randomly doing it. And even if they do, you don't lose much because the guy contesting you likely can't finish it on his own anyways. So it's a really great way to accelerate the game.
And of course, having Mountain Drake won't make it that much easier to get anything else. Infernal's next on the menu as well. Perk's just going to back right there, but here comes Trashy. Fog of War. Charm goes wide. Small window where it's down, but they're not going to try to pull any kind of trigger on the dive.
No. He has his flashback, but they obviously still have to fight through that penalty. Last game, they were attacking Expect, putting him down. There was that roam here. Remember when Mithy, rather, walked to the top side? He got countered by Mikyx, the Tahm Kench ultimate. Nothing of the sort happened this game.
Well, there's just no hard counters here in terms of the engage. So if Splyce make a small mistake, if someone gets caught out, if G2 find a pick, they don't have a eject button. They don't have a get out of jail free card. Have to decide much more quickly, much more consistently whether or not this is a fight that they want to take. And Splyce clearly not as comfortable without that Tahm Kench.
And G2 just playing it super slow. They could have easily taken a turret here, but they don't want to lose anything on the back end of that play, so they just base. It may still fall. Kobbe got to be quick here. A couple creeps remaining. Barely stays alive. So that first turret gold, the brick, is going to go to G2 as well, unless Splyce can really make something happen somewhere on the map.
And it's a very small window, too. And we're 12 minutes and 30 seconds in. There's another wave pushing towards the tower. Someone needs to be there constantly to respond to that.
Yeah, they already accept that they're losing the bot lane turret, so they're moving into 1-3-1 formation already. Mithy right now is just assisting PerkZ in the mid lane to make sure that wave gets clear so he gets his back. 2-0-2 and only on the last chapter. This guy must be sitting on quite some gold.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's your Morello. Maybe some other pieces as well.
Job's done. That's actually greedy. Basing on 2.7k gold, that's when you know you have a commanding lead. I don't think that should ever happen in competitive. I don't think you should base on gold leads pre-15 minutes that are larger than 2k. I feel like that feels like just like inefficiency.
Maybe not what he wanted. Maybe not what he wanted at all. But as you mentioned, 1-3-1, it's begun. And Splyce are now better set up for it than they were last time. but it's still that 3K gold lead. It's that Mountain Drake. G2 very much still in control. Are Splyce just buying time at this point? What is the play for them?
They just gotta stall and hope for a pick somewhere, but it's so easy for G2 to play it slow because they always have Shen ulti, so any play is gonna kind of be predictable in a sense because the Renekton will be teleporting. The second you see teleport, expect you to just hit the Shen button, and that's why as you see Wunder just walking down instead actually.
Works. Nice movement out, stunned up. Trashy not gonna go forward quite yet. There's the Shen ultimate. Wunder in trouble. Not gonna drop, but means the play's not gonna go through.
Oh, Drake with the flash. I like the move, Zven.
Let's go. Oh. That's a clincher.
Nope. Squeezed him right there. But yeah, I like the movement from PerkZ a lot. He's been doing a lot of respect flashes where he's not kind of figuring out, is this guy actually going to flash for me? Nope, just instantly flashing out. And he did the same last game. He's really respectful of his opponents in this series.
And I mean, it saves his life. It ensures that they don't lose anything in that play. G2 take the bot lane tower as well in the meantime.
It even sucked in Trashy further under the turret as well. He body slammed into nowhere because the distance that PerkZ had made already with that ulti stack and the flash was just so large that Trashy couldn't even follow up with the body slam flash.
Did you call him Flashy?
Flashy.
Flashy Trashy.
Run, Trashy.
All right,
run.
well, a little bit as suspected. Your opinion has shifted quite quickly there, friends on Twitter.
Dan, where's your fandom, guys?
Yeah. There's like 30 of you that disappeared in that vote.
Yeah, just a bunch of sellouts. It's like, go winning team. Go winning team.
To be fair, that's how I am with just about every other esport. I don't know enough to know like who's good and who's not. I just go, this team looks fun. We're gonna root for this team.
Nah, you gotta stay loyal. Go Broncos. It's only because Monte Cristo.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't know anything about American football.
I know zero. I know jack all about football, but I asked Monty once who am I rooting for, and he was for Broncos. And Manning, great.
Oh yeah. All right.
Quarterback? Is he quarterback? My boy Peyton. I think he's retired by now. I don't know. I don't follow it. But go Broncos.
Just say Manning. There's always a Manning playing in football. It may be the unfortunate other son, but
there's another guy.
There's another Manning.
There's more?
They're like a whole family. It's crazy. It's like if Bjergsen has any smaller, younger children, they need to like come in and play League of Legends, and then they can be
Team Solo Mid Academy. Bring him in. Mikyx looking for some pain, and not the French bread.
Trick's gonna body block. Damage goes out. Play by playing. Small little exchanges. These don't matter very much, but the Caitlyn traps are irritating. The Splyce do continue to push in, but they're not really making any headway here.
It is a good stalling setup for a Splyce. It's really hard to push through, unless they want to put Zven and Mithy in the mid lane and have PerkZ go to a side lane. I think that is eventually what G2 will do, because Zven and Mithy essentially need to be two guys to deal with the Ekko. Because Sencux on his own is a bit of a threat. I think it's much better for them to push in. Spec needs to be careful right now. He's solo pushing on Renekton. It's quite greedy.
Oh. Last time he was able to outplay the dive. This time Splyce don't even take the risk.
Yeah.
Now G2 are just going to move in and try to take the mid lane.
Yeah, this play came to be because they pushed out bot together. So they can always push in the Ekko as two. And if there is not equal counter pressure in mid lane on PerkZ, obviously G2 can then move over, take over control of the mid lane, and then back off into the Dragon. This is perfect pathing here from G2. Expect survives the gank on the top lane, check. They push bot into mid lane, check, and then they take the Infernal. This is just slow, steady, and methodical, honestly, deconstruction of whatever Splyce can offer.
And really, I think it's good to see this level of play coming out from G2, and understanding also the importance of this series, because they're only one win ahead of Misfits right now. Yeah. They cannot afford to lose here. It is not where they want to be. Expect
Great respect flash, exactly. And if you look at how deep the vision of Splyce goes into the blue side jungle, you see how heavy they're leaning on this top side to get anything done. There is 4 wards in the span of almost a single screen there in the jungle. And G2, they just yield. They give over the weak side. They tag team with Expect. He goes to bot lane right now. Zven takes over. He obviously has the mobility to play on the side lane if he wants to.
Very comfortable on the way to the Trinity Force as well. No Frozen Gauntlet. He wants to dish out the damage. Not worried about kiting with the team. Worried about kiting for himself.
Yeah, and the next objective for G2 is obviously that top tier 1 or perhaps to Herald. They can also play for Vision as an objective in the deep side red jungle of Splyce. That's somewhere you could see Mithy and Trick invading together.
Right now they're clearing out a bit of Vision. Haven't set foot in the jungle yet, but the pings are coming out, and as predicted, they're going to move in for this.
Yeah, they just force the mid wave first, make sure they're done there. They force Splyce to react. Splyce always get the scraps. They get second choice on which side of the map they're playing on, and Expect always is playing on the weak side. But he's a tank, and he's far enough ahead that he can survive.
PerkZ, aggression going forward. Trashy moving in. Nothing gonna happen.
Yeah, Trashy just body slamming, hoping that PerkZ will do another respect flash, but there was just no follow-up, so he holds his summoners. PerkZ has to loop around right now, and we see Trick again. He does the invade, kind of fake out to top lane, plants a vision, and then return, and help his mid laner clean out the mid lane. Expect getting pressured again, rotated on for a dive. If he stays at any of these points, he dies.
Yeah, but he backs off. The team aware that this is happening. They're trading sides of the map, as you said. So it's Splyce who's going to grab the bottom lane tower. It's G2 setting their sights on the top lane tower. They don't have a wave here to break it yet.
Yeah, Wunder defended that pretty well. So it's a bit of a slower trade here, but G2 can actually dive to Renekton because Shen ulti could relocate Expected to the top lane at any point.
Sencux taking a lot of damage. Not going to break the tower quite yet. PerkZ continuing to play with fire here. Fearless there on the sidelines.
I honestly would almost move PerkZ up to the top lane and dive to Renekton a little earlier. I think they gave too much leeway to Sencux here.
Yeah, we look at it just moments ago. It was a 5k gold lead. Still close to that point, but Splyce doing what they can.
It's only 4.5 now, Siva.
Yeah, oh, I saw it, and then the turret went down.
G2 eSports,
I was appreciating if we could just pretend like I wasn't an idiot there for a second.
They're really letting themselves go. How dare they lose an entire 500 gold?
The lead only is supposed to go up, Krepo.
Yep.
Can't go back down a little bit.
Let's see how much gold PerkZ spaces with next time. It's always fun to track.
2K, 2,700 was our record.
Yeah, he's up 1.2 right now. So, but they've really built the foundation for great vision control in the enemy jungle here. They're using the sweep to reveal traps. They're not even walking on Caitlyn cupcakes. This is very clean by G2. Not a single kill to Splyce either.
And on top of that, the later they go, the more PerkZ is starting to hurt. Trashy in trouble. PerkZ trying to fancy footwork his way out of there. Sencux moving forward. Has the proto belt. Lulu ult makes him just a little bit bigger. Trank is the one who may go down, though. But Shen's there as well. They're just denying any pick potential from the side of Splyce.
Yeah, but it's a good hold by Splyce, though, because they forced so many ultis. 4v5 because Renekton wasn't there. And more importantly, Wunder did not teleport.
Don't burn anything in the end. So Splyce, small advantages here.
Those two control wards are making it really hard for Splyce to fight back, though. That's what you need to do. Like, your first layer of kind of counter vision, if it can already be in the enemy jungle and you can defend that, it's so hard for Splyce to fight back.
Kobbe's going to have to flash out. He was not in a position to fight back there. PerkZ waiting over the side of the wall. Not a ton of mana to his name, but more than enough to pop a squishy Caitlyn.
And I think G2 may actually start the Nashor soon. At least try and create the illusion that they're doing so. PerkZ is basing right now out of vision, but if they don't know, just play as if they're 5 people.
Have to assume that they're waiting in the brush, that they're hiding there. And this is kind of the poker side of League of Legends. Are they doing the Baron? Are they not doing the Baron? Are you going to call the bluff? Or are you going to face check into 5 members?
Well, there's no control ward in the pit right now. Obviously, Splyce loses a lot of information. That ward does not need to be cleared. Do not clear wards in a Baron pit, because you only give more information to your opponents. As long as you have control ward, it's fine.
Yeah, that was my favorite. I think we saw that 2-3 weeks ago in the EU LCS. One team's like, we're going to start the Baron. We better kill this ward that doesn't see anything first. Like, hey, I wonder where they're at, guys.
Guess where? It tilts the ever-living crap out of me when that happens in solo queue. Yeah, let's place in another ward, because they have to. They just have to check, are they doing it? Nope. Just toss them in there, boys.
It's okay, Krepo. I know. I know. They're holding you back, Krepo. You'll rise up the ranks one day. You'll get to the top.
7.5, baby. Ignite Thunderlord's Thresh, level 2 power spike.
Well, not 7.5 yet, but that is a strong Wunder. Moving forward. Wunder's actually going to drop here. This is great. Shutting down the teleport. Now Trashy's in no man's land. He body slams forward. Turns into a little
Sencux
critter.
is here.
Maybe looking for a little bit more. They're trying to get more. Trick goes down. Sencux is on the front lines, but the Lulu's saying no to the play. Snaps back to safety. Flash out. Exhaust is down. They are going to make it out without losing anything else. 1 for 1 in the end.
Yeah, 1 for 1 on a single teleport used, but more time bought there as Sencux flies back in time himself. Now Kobbe looking to clean out mid. And hopefully, for Splyce's sake, they can fight back a little bit of vision control. They've done so very well. Look at the jungle. Completely different pictures. 2 control wards on their side right now. And honestly, littering with wards at the entrances.
Battling back. Still don't have vision in the pit, though. That will be crucial as they move forward, but can't afford to push too far because, I mean, Zven right now is looking strong. He already has the Trinity Force. The Moral Mana stacked up as well. So that Ezreal definitely has the power to outduel the Caitlyn, so Kobbe has to be safe.
Yeah, G2 much more comfortable also playing the scaling game in this game. There isn't kind of these monster team fighters later on. Wunder is trying to put as much pressure as he can, but he doesn't have much to go with. Good collapse here from PerkZ. Mobile Assassin.
Can't really do much about that. Just too many dashes.
I mean, it's greedy from G2 kind of sticking around here. Good assassination from Sencux. He also gets a flash from the Graves. It's quite big, actually, for next fight.
All too crucial. Means he may not be the one able to contest in the Baron pit. Limited his ability to do much of anything, but for now he's going to grab yet another dragon. Ocean, maybe not the one you want to see in the late game, but makes that Elder Dragon, that true late game win condition, all the more terrifying.
Yeah, but we're looking at Baron still as the main win condition from G2. They just need to set up their lanes. Expect needs to base here, go to the bottom lane. See if he can deal with Wunder. So that's where the teleports match up, and obviously if you can burn both, then have Shen ultimate available. It'll also be great for G2.
Not gonna burn anything yet though. Still the battle for vision, still trying to get control.
Yeah, and obviously G2, they do not want to lose the second game. They want to extend that kind of streak of undefeated gameplay in terms of series, not games, in terms of matches, to 386 days, 385 right now. So obviously slower playing. If this was a game one, I think we could see G2 accelerate a bit more, because they knew in case they messed up, they had a bit more leeway. Yep. But this was their first blue side loss.
And really, when we look at the stakes, a lot of times G2 never contested at the top of the table. But Misfits are coming up quick, and they're looking stronger and stronger every week. And right now, G2 have a one-game buffer.
Yeah.
That might not be the case when Misfits play H2K. We'll find out. But if G2 get a two-game buffer here, or a two-series buffer rather, it's a great place to be.
It doesn't matter that much, because obviously the match where G2 play against Misfits is going to be the decider in the second part, unless anybody slips up. But at that point, it also matters how cleanly you've been playing, right? How many games you've dropped, because that will decide the ties later on. It's match wins first, and it's the game win-loss record that decides where you're at, the percentage.
All too important to win clean, all too important to win decisively. G2 not going to get a quick 2-0 this time around. We'll have to fight to 3 games if they want to bring it back.
All right, let's follow the setup right now from G2. They're in the lead. They're contesting the vision. Do they do it carefully, or will they get collapsed on?
Oh, Zven going forward. The Shen ult is there, though. Sencux has to pull back to safety, but it's Trick who's on the backside. PerkZ is there as well. That's a lot of damage. PerkZ is trying to pop off. He's going in. He wants a little bit more. Exhaust goes down onto him, though. He's overstayed his welcome. He gets cut back. G2 still trying to get the most out of it. Zven, it's to protect the Zven comp. He's popping off. He's going in. He wants more. It's the double.
Yeah, because Zven is not afraid at the end of the fight when the tide is turning to flash or dash in aggressively, and he cleans up in the end. But Wunder, he bought a lot of time there, and Trick, he lost his flash in the last fight, and he had to pay the price for that, but still 3-for-2 exchange, and more importantly, teleport burned on the side of Splyce.
This is starting to look more and more like a G2 victory.
But it's also the right calls from Splyce as well. They're fighting back hard when they need to. You need to fight these Baron plays in the setup. If you allow your vision to be taken away, you will pay a much larger price to even get close to a fight. So this is almost a dream fight for Splyce, as good as it gets. Like, they're aggressively invading. Ahri's not there yet. You're next to the jungler who has no flash. Oh, Trashy. If that body slam connects, Trick is out of the fight without even ulting. So this is actually a window where G2 could have gotten punished. Because then Wunder can change his playstyle in the backline as well, to not be aggressively peel-oriented and just wasting people's time. I love the adaptation at the end here, or kind of the switch in an aggressive pattern from G2. Zven, I expect go in, but that body slam from Trashy also close to connecting and turning his game on its head.
I mean, would have been a big difference. We look at the damage in the last team fight. 2,700 damage coming in for the Graves.
Would have not happened, and more importantly, the Renekton, it's not even the damage that happened, it's the change of playstyle approach. If you're a top lane tank in the back end of the fight and your team is convincingly winning the other side, you can just peel. Just waste your time, dance around with them a little bit.
For now, Baron Dance continues. Division setup for G2 coming in, but Splyce are there to contest it. They're no longer just conceding this.
Yeah, second teleport up again. This is obviously one of the advantages of playing 1-3-1 double TP comp, is that you can cycle your TPs to the bottom lane, and it's really hard for a composition with a single TP to get a teleport advantage.
And this is kind of textbook Splyce when we look back at it. They were the 1-3-1 team coming in at Summer, picking sometimes very unorthodox 1-3-1 comps with the Talia top, things in the manner. This time around, they got the Ekko, they've got the Renekton.
But they're still struggling with vision. Somebody will always have to face check here. near Baron to figure out what's going on. It's so dark for them in that river.
It's grim. There it is. I was just about to ask for it, but there it is.
Yeah, just look at the vision right there. They have no clue who's basing. There could be 4 people in the little brush here. So let's see what the information that they're getting. They don't know where PerkZ is. They saw him now, so this is kind of a breath of relief. I almost want to follow this further.
Go in. Move forward. PerkZ trying to get a little bit of vision down. Now trying to get some damage down on the Wunder. Wunder may have overstayed his welcome. Sven can go over the wall. Wunder now set to fall. Flash out to safety. TP coming in behind them. Sven wants to start the fight.
Yeah,
Is canceled.
Has to cancel because it's too far. If he goes in, he will just get popped immediately. They got some cooldowns. But right now, they're fighting the darkness 4v5 because Wunder's not here. This is an incredibly tough call to make for Splyce. Is it even worth fighting? They don't know.
Want it. Mikyx maybe looking to get something. Trashy wants to find a way over the wall. Charm has been burned. Where's the CC left to stop him from smiting? 3K dropping lower. Sencux wants to go into the pit. G2 pull back.
Yeah, they have to hold back because they don't want to risk a 50-50. Now Sencux creating a lot of space on the top side, fighting PerkZ. Wunder is back.
Well, the passive may be able to heal up, but Sencux is going to chase him down. Doesn't have a Zhonya's, has no way to stay safe.
PerkZ drops.
Protobell pops him. Splyce now moving in.
It's still very hard. Zven is being built around with this composition. This is a soon-to-be, I hope, an Ardent Sensor too on Mithy to just keep Zven buffed up. Trick's going to solo start Dragon here. Splyce going to react with a Nashor. They could technically.
Expect Sven, Mithy all there. Ezreal and the 2 pieces set in place to protect him. Both up, both available.
Ooh, aggressively contesting his wave means you're going to get hella poked.
Moving in. Decent damage. Sencux is the man on the front lines. Timewiner goes out.
And look at Zven, he's weaving him. He's essentially fighting 1v4 right there, finding Kobbe in the middle of the enemy team, just forcing them to walk backwards. And now PerkZ is spawning in 8 seconds. 4v5, G2 is still maintaining pressure on the map here.
Parallel convergence. Nothing going to happen. Both teams backing off, but as you said, G2, they remain in control. They're getting the mid lane push. They're looking to get the vision as well.
They accidentally hit some wards during that Baron encounter as well. When people were placing wards over the wall, they were being hit by the G2 members. Some of them, and then eventually they decided to clear them out.
Now moving in. Trinket used to spot Graves out.
They find out they're starting it. Really good sneak from G2 all of a sudden.
Forward.
So hard for Splyce to see what's going on. We don't know. Right?
Sencux. Redemption goes in. Trashy, where are you at? Where's the smite? This is your chance. This is the redemption. Are you going to get it? Mithy goes over the wall. They're not going to grab it. G2 get it in the end. Splyce trying to get something. Wunder may get taken down, but Sencux is in the middle of the team. He gets shut down. Graves making sure nothing's going to happen there on the side of Splyce. And Sven is going forward. Exhaust drops. Is it going to be enough? Has he overstayed his welcome? Kobbe's moving forward. Oh no, the charm hits. He's knocked out. Sven's on the back line. He's doing his best bang impression. Wants to keep the fight going. He goes through another one. That is good for G2.
Yeah, bang, bang. Shut him down right there. I want to see again what happened with Mithy because he flashed over the wall to polymorph Trashy, but I think he actually blocked the body slam on the same frame as well, keeping Trashy outside. Obviously, as Gragas, you never want to body slam over that wall because that's blockable. You always want to flash if you're Trashy.
Now G2, they're going to break an inhibitor. This is the start of them looking to make this a series.
Yeah, this was the moment for Splyce to fight back. They had an inkling of a chance. It wasn't 50-50, maybe 30% of it steal. And even then, the fight after would be rough. And once they lost it, they kind of got sucked into the despair. Let's watch it again. So keep your eyes on Mithy. 2K right there. The steal's coming.
Yep.
And that's, honestly, is really hard to tell. It's nitpicking. But as a jungler, if you have 2 gap closers and one of them is flash and the other one is a jump, you flash in because the priority is to get the Nashor first. Yes, you can die then, and then you try and use your gap closer out.
Man. Can't tell if it's luck, if it's brilliance coming in from Mithy, but...
I mean, he can still flash over and polymorph because the polymorph can go into the pit too. Obviously, Smite's still available then, but then he can only do his best, right?
So good. Now we look at how the team fights are unfolding. It is the Sven show. It is this Ezreal coming in, dishing out the damage now as the Lord dominates the QSS as well.
Yeah, entirely built around 2 Shen ulti on him, Lulu ulti. Essentially, you gotta kill him twice.
And when we look at it too, Ekko, more of the mid-game burst damage, not that late-game scaling.
Obviously, changes. If Ekko is snowballing, you always stay ahead. Trashy looking for the flank here on Zven.
Zven just gets knocked back, buffers the shift, makes it out to safety. Trashy gets popped. There's too much damage. Sencux runs in, tries to save himself, tries to make it back to safety. It's not enough. Trick takes him down as well. Zven doesn't care. He's on the front lines. He's going to keep going. Whew. I haven't seen a pet Ezreal in a long time.
Drakos, breathe. That's really well played by Zven. He just shifts in whenever he can. It was a 4v5. It was worthy of an attempt by Splyce, going for the flank. But the reaction on that body slam flash from over the wall shift was almost instantaneous. You can shift Alt to CC as long as you start the animation early, and that is exactly what Zven did there. And for that reason, G2 convincingly win the fight, and they will tie up the series.
So good to see coming in from G2. Wunder's desperately holding on to it, but Zven is just too strong, and every member of the team there is backing him up. Game 2, G2 tie it up. We're gonna go to a game 3. What a series so far.
And that's exactly what we want to see. Two good European teams, Splyce on the up and up. G2 defending their undefeated record here, going all the way to a game 3. No more ties.
No more ties. We saw that. I think it was week 8, back end of the summer season, the tie. Both teams getting one apiece. But now someone has to be a winner. Krepo. We saw G2 adapt. We saw G2 pick up the pace.
But it was such a, honestly, a shameful snowball in the sense that that was a massive blunder by Splyce to overreach in that jungle. I think Trick definitely made the game-winning play with that single gank, because I think it forced the play that happened next from Splyce. We saw Mithy in the bot lane drop, no side stone, so he really wanted to get like a deep ward to get some like understanding of what was going on the map. They saw Raptors like, let's steal them. And then Trashy pulled the trigger on the engage with the body slam flash, and it was just, you could see that was a gut call, an in-the-moment call, because the teleport was late, it wasn't set up, there was no communication, and it completely crumbled.
And if you want to look at the silver lining, it's that, oh, look, but at least they made it as a team. But the worst part of that call was that everyone went in, that everyone followed, and the one bad decision became a team-wide bad decision as everybody died in that exchange.
Yeah, they all died. Obviously, once the call was made, they went in as a team, but it was a little rough. It's really hard to read sometimes, but yeah, Trashy, body slam level 5, not too much you can do there. And that point, though, they had to stall, and I think they did well. They went into 1-3-1 formation. Sencux bought a lot of time. They kept cycling their teleports. Whenever one was down, somebody else would kind of take over in the bottom lane. They understood which brushes were fighting for and which were not. So they, like the one brush next to mid lane, they were continuously fighting over pink ward control. 3 traps, double pink wards in there, because they knew if you lose that one, that is a stepping stone into national control.
Well, and I liked it too because we were talking about how we wanted to see more European teams fight over vision control, not just go fight at the Baron, not just go fight at the Dragon where the stakes are super high. Fight where there's lower stakes and fight over that vision. And we've seen both teams now do this very well. And I think it's good for the development of Europe, but also just good to see because, one, we get a lot more fights, yay. And two, it's nice to see teams play around something that we're seeing in
standoffs. Like, there weren't really fights. Come on, like I like Vision Wars myself because I think it's really important, but they weren't really fighting too much. There was
a lot of cooldowns burned. There's a lot of people who almost died, and that makes me happy.
There was that one body slam that could have turned it around. So there was actually a moment where G2 could have technically lost control, or at least evened up control in the game there. So it just shows you that if you play the defensive game well and you really understand to pick your battles, there will be moments where your opponent may make a mistake, and all you got to do is pull the trigger right. It was unfortunate for Splyce that Trashy missed there. Very well executed fight otherwise from G2. And also, I'm just loving Zven on Ezreal.
Zven on Ezreal was crisp. And I think so often when we see Ezreal picked, it's everyone plays back. They play so far back. They never want to go forward, and I understand, because most often than not, they are at a deficit. But it's not what we want to see when we see Ezreal.
The major difference between like actual good Ezreal players is just Q hit rate. If you hit like 2 out of your 4 Qs, you're useless. If you had 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 4, that's when they actually start amounting to something. And that's the problem when people who play Ezreal, they don't harass well early, they don't CS well, and if you get behind the curve on this champion, he's just useless. But if you look at like what like Deft and Bang can do in a champion, he's just broken.
Deft, Bang, Zven. All right.
I mean, you can almost put him there in his prime.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see how the career continues for Sen. For a closer look at Game 2, however, let's send it over to the analyst desk.